So I grew up going to church in a denominational setting. My dad was a pastor. My mom was a music minister. I came from a really long line of evangelists and traveling ministers and all of that. So I grew up going to church and knowing what it was about, thinking I knew who God was and what he was doing. And I became really bitter, actually, because I was at the church all the time. You know, my mother was the music minister, so I was always listening to different tracks, you know, that were going on. She would be singing over these recording tracks in the car, and so I began to get this bitterness about worship and about worship music. And it was like I would sit back and I would look at a congregation during worship and I would think, man, this is only about hype. This is only about people coming to get their fix, and God's not really doing anything, you know. And so I kind of went throughout, you know, my childhood and even into high school like that. And long story short, I had an encounter with God, and he called me to be a worship leader. And I was leading worship a ton and all the time. I was going to college at the time, and I was leading worship on campus in different groups and really trying to go after what I believe God was trying to do and just lead as much as I possibly could, because I know that I'd heard something from him and I was going to do it. But that bitterness never really got dealt with. And I remember one Sunday just being just really down on myself, and I was leading worship, and I thought to myself, I bet you if I sang "How Great Is Our God" right now, everybody would lift their hands. I could change the whole room by just playing one song, you know. And these sort of became default songs, you know. Another one was like "I Exalt Thee," and I just began to do that. I was like, if we just want to have a cool service where it's all hype, I can do that, you know. We'll just play these two songs, and everybody's gonna lift their hands, and it's not gonna mean anything. And so I got really weary and just down on that and super bitter. And then my dad, he called me up and he was like, hey, you gotta come out to Bethel, Cleveland. You gotta do it. Because he had been going to the Akron campus at the time, and he was also going to BSSM. And he's like, Ethan, you just gotta do it. The Akron campus, we meet on Sunday nights at 6 p.m. You just gotta come out. It's amazing, right? And so I was reluctant, but I finally came out, and I got sort of bombarded by the worship leader, and he was like, dude, you're a worship leader, you should come. You gotta play. You gotta play guitar, you gotta sing, you gotta do this stuff, right? And what I didn't know is that would become the place where I actually got refreshed, and that it became the place where the presence of God became real again. That it was a really good God who is a good father who really cares about his kids. So I just came, you know, pretty much every Sunday night, and was playing guitar and doing whatever I could. And eventually the worship leader came and he talked to me and said, hey man, I'm gonna go away to a worship school, and I'm gonna be gone for a while, and I need somebody to take my place, and you're the only person I'll reference. Before I knew it, I was meeting with Steve Witt at a Starbucks and talking. He didn't know me at all, and before I know it, he's offering me a job, you know, to come and lead worship. And it was like God was saying, hey, I'm good. You're made for this. It's not about hype. It's not about manipulation. You're called to this. And so I accepted the job, and it's about 4 years later now, and I'm the worship director. And it's been such an incredible journey to see how good God is and to see his presence come. And I'm so honored to be a worship leader here at Bethel, Cleveland. I couldn't imagine being in a better place to call home, and to see the kingdom of God come to earth, and to see a father bring his goodness, to bring his faithfulness, to bring his presence in the midst of his sons and daughters, and for them to sing back to him and engage. It really is a place you can call home.